Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm John Arwood here with Sh3gotgame with the lovely Brooklyn Haywood. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well, man. I'm doing well. Before we dive into like the nitty gritty stuff where people really want to get to know you, I want to start from the basics. All right. Let's touch on your background a little bit. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Anchorage, Alaska. I lived there for 13 years and then moved to Vancouver, Washington just this past year.
Wow. With Alaskan background, how did you get involved in sports and stuff like that? Like, at what age did you start getting involved in sports?
When I was 4, my mom put me in like soccer, and I was a soccer player for a couple years. And then she started putting me in the YMCA rec leagues with like 30-minute practices, 30-minute games, stuff like that. And then when I was 9 was when I really started to like get into basketball, and I kind of stopped playing soccer, and I just started playing basketball at that point.
Got you. If you don't mind me asking, what inspired the transition? Essentially, like what made you stop using your feet and start using your hands? What
um,
inspired you?
so my dad was the assistant coach for one of the local high schools in Alaska, one of the better high schools, with Alyssa Peely from USC was on that team and a couple other girls. So um, just I was around them a lot. I went to practice with my dad a lot and went to the games. I was their water girl for a couple years. So just being around that, I was like, man, I think I kind of want to play basketball more than soccer. So it's kind of
It's kind of how you got involved and stuff.
like, I kind of like basketball more than soccer. So
Really dope. Really dope. In the beginning stages of beginning the transition and stuff, what part of basketball, what part of the game would you say became the most natural to you, or came the most natural to you? Excuse me.
so I think shooting kind of came the most natural to me. I think I've just shot my whole life. That's kind of what I've done. Like when I first started playing, or I would just go into the Alaska club we have in Alaska, and I would go shoot around with my dad and stuff like that. So, but when I was younger, I started shooting with my left hand because I write with my left hand. And then my mom was like, um, "You're not very good with your left hand." So then I started shooting with my right. So it was kind of like I switched from that too.
Can you shoot with both? Or are you
I
ambidextrous?
I still shoot with both. Yeah.
Sweet, sweet. It's a good skill. It's a good skill, especially for floaters in the lane and stuff like that. No, good. So this is your first year in high school. You're a freshman, correct? With that being said, do you have, do you have any personal high school goals that you wish to reach? Whether that be any All Americans, the Jordan game, the McDonald, whatever case, whatever that may be. What are some of those personal goals for you in high school?
Definitely McDonald's All American or like Gatorade Player of the Year, just stuff like that. And then also kind of learning from because this is my first year of high school, so it's the first time I'm experiencing like high school basketball. So just learning from experiences and growing as the season goes on, but also pushing myself and getting better the entire season.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, it's a learning curve, especially as a freshman. It's a learning curve. The game's a little quicker, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
With that being said, there's a learning curve on the court as well as off the court. How have you found ways to manage kind of your personal life outside of basketball, so your whole life just isn't basketball? How have you been able or found ways to manage those?
Um, yeah. So when I was younger, I was homeschooled. And so it was kind of like I was just in sports and just doing just whatever sports I was in. So all my friends were there. But this year, I'm actually going to high school, public school. So it's kind of balanced better. I get to see all my friends at school, hang out with them there. And then before and after school is when I have my workouts in and stuff. So it's really well balanced right now.
Usually, what happens is when things are happening and everything's busy, you usually find people that do what you do, have similar schedules and stuff like that, and it helps to make it a little bit easier. But just want to touch on. So you recently was featured in Chris Hansen in one of Chris Hansen videos, right? That's a unique experience. Not everyone could get that. If you don't mind me asking, how was that experience, and what was some of your biggest takeaways from it?
The experience was great, just being there and being around everyone there, just seeing all the talent in my graduating class. It was really fun to play against and see. Something I took away from that was to pay attention to detail. Uh, just really keep like just know kind of know what you're doing most of the time, and then also um, these girls that I've never heard of before, I've never seen before, and getting to go here and play with them and against them was just a great experience. Just knowing that there are other girls out there with the same dreams and goals as me, and that I need to keep working to just keep getting better.
Speaking of, you mentioned hard working, mentioned progressing forward and stuff like that. With that being said, although you're a freshman, not too many people can say you do have two offers on the table. I believe at SMU as well as University of Portland, correct?
Yes.
With that being said, how much did that mean to you? How much did that like prove to you that hard work is paying off and stuff like how important was that to you?
It it meant a lot. It really did. Just the fact that these coaches were willing to give me an offer when I haven't even played in high school yet. It was crazy to me. And then it's just definitely pushed me and uh, made me want to stay in the gym, get better, knowing that this hard work is paying off and that the path I'm on is working.
Sweet. No, that's great, man. That's great. I guess everyone kind of needs to hear a little bit about, everyone kind of needs reassurance that what they're doing is working, right? And it's no other better reassurance than two teams that believe it, right?
Yeah.
So, congratulations on that, and there's more to come.
Thank you.
With that being said, have you ever balanced or have you ever tried to base your game ever off any WNBA or NBA players while playing?
Definitely. I have a couple for each. Like WNBA, I'm really big on mentality and being disciplined in that stuff. So Kelsey Plum,
Yes.
like Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, and then Sabrina Ionescu. For NBA though, Steph Curry has always been one of my favorites. Recently, I've started to really like Jordan Poole too. I feel like um, he's improved from the last season and stuff. So I've definitely been watching him more. And then obviously Kobe Bryant is one of my all-time favorites.
Gotcha.
Michael Jordan definitely. So
MJ. All right. I mean, look, it's a hell of a list that you required there. I wanted to ask you. That unfortunately, it seems to be a pattern because you're on the West Coast. Is that where you base a lot of your players off? I heard all Cali teams over there.
no, not really. It's just kind of the players that I've always looked up to since I was little. Like when I first started playing basketball, those were some of just the players that I've always been watching. So
Nice. All right. Okay. Cool, man. Cool. Cool. Real cool. And I do want to touch on because you're a little more accomplished than the average freshman, and your journey's been a lot more unique than anyone else's. With that being said, when did you reach your she got game moment? So here, she got game. When we say that, it's the moment where you realize, okay, this is real. People believe in you. I believe, you believe in yourself. It's a moment realization. And when did that occur for you in your young career?
I think when that moment occurred to me was I was in Seattle visiting my grandma on Thanksgiving dinner with my family, coming up from Alaska, and one of my friends was playing in a basketball tournament for her team. And we were like, "Oh my gosh, we have time. Let's go watch her game." So we got there, and then the younger team was actually playing. Like my age group was playing on the other side. And so I was like, "Oh, hey, let's go see them play." And then they ended up needing an extra player. And so I was like, "Hey, I have my bag in the car. Like I can play with you guys." So I jumped in with them for the rest of the tournament, and I played really well. I did really well, and we ended up winning the championship to that tournament, I believe. So it was pretty cool. And also there's this one team where we had played them the day before, our first game, I think, and we beat them. And then the next day he was like he was saying I was too old. He was trying to tell people that I was older than I.
Yeah.
He was like trying to get me to not play. So I ended up playing anyways, but he was like trying to get me to not be able to play. It was crazy.
Crazy, crazy. Trying to take the X factor out the game. That's wild. But that's it makes sense, man. That makes sense. That's actually really cool. That sounds exciting. Just to come off, always being prepared and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dope, man. Dope. So now I do want to transition slight bit. I wanna talk about pretty much the impact that basketball's had on you so far, right? With that, you know, what would you say are some of the biggest aspects of your life that basketball is like changed for the better or worse? What would you say part of your life basketball's changed the biggest?
I think the relationships I've made have been really great, and just getting exposed to those relationships and learning new things, meeting new people. I think one thing I could say that it may have been for the a little not the, maybe like not my favorite part or not the best.
Mm.
Making these sacrifices, living in Alaska for 13 years and then moving to Washington to get better exposure and stuff. It was hard, but I was willing to do it just because I wanted to play so bad and I wanted to just get better. So that's definitely the hardest part, is making these sacrifices, but it's all worth it.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Now I want to ask you because life hits everyone, whether you're adult, younger child, kid, whatever the case is. Life's always up and down, right? It comes in waves. And with that being said, do you have any personal sayings or mottos or anything that helps you personally get through tough times?
Most of the time I just remind myself, just like stay focused, stay disciplined. Like I just tell myself like it'll all be worth it in the end, just getting to where I want to go, getting my dreams and aspects. And honestly, any Kobe Bryant quote, any motivational stuff he says, it's just always stuck with me. Like anything I've read from Kobe Bryant has always stuck with me. So just reminding myself that it's all worth it.
100%. He's that guy, man. He's an icon. He's my personal favorite player, so I understand everything you're saying. And the impact of his words and actions, iconic. But yeah, now I want to touch on. I know you're still young in your career, but it's always important to touch on life after basketball, right?
Yeah.
What I mean, so you do have a large following, and you do have a very big support system via Instagram and just all over socials, right? And it's a great accomplishment. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, have you ever considered utilizing, your platform or something like that along the lines outside of basketball, down the line?
I I have. So my nephew has something called spinal muscular atrophy, and he's missing a gene, so he's not able to walk or like do things that kids his age are usually able to do. He just doesn't have the muscles. So
Mhm.
spreading awareness for that is definitely one of my biggest things, and just trying to get more people to know about it and be aware of it. And then also another thing that I'm really big on is like drunk driving. One of my really close friends from Alaska got killed in the drunk driving incident a couple months ago. So just making sure people are aware and stuff like that. I'm just trying to get people to know, like,
Gotcha. I'm sorry to hear that. My condolences and thoughts go out to the family. So my apologies. But to take a slight turn, speaking, do you have any other hobbies or ideas, of what you would do possibly outside of basketball, outside the bringing awareness and things like that to certain issues in social climates?
I've always just kind of wanted to start my own brand and just
Okay,
kind of things that way and stuff. So that's just kind of been one of my big things, was like I want to get my own brand, like I want to get this stuff. So,
you kind of want to have your own platform.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
want to do like clothes, you want to do training stuff like that, or you haven't
I
gotten that far?
I kind of want to do clothes and merch and stuff. But when I get older, uh, maybe some training in there, just like throwing some stuff in there, kind of mixing it up.
Nice. I mean, well, you're young. You could workshop that. You got tons and tons of years to do that. So, it sounds very enticing, though. It does sound enticing. You know, to conclude the interview, this is you've been wonderful. You've been great. With that being said, is there any advice that you would like to leave with anyone younger or anyone who's been following your journey and your path? Or anyone that just may look up to you in general. Is there any advice and stuff you'd like to leave with them?
Yeah, just stay focused, stay disciplined. Just kind of follow your own path. Don't let anyone tell you you're not good enough or you can't do this, you can't do that. Just always believe in yourself and uh, kind of just be a good role model for people that are younger than you too. If you have any younger siblings or any friends that are younger than you, just be a really good role model for them to look up to when they're older.
Perfect. That sounds amazing. I hope everyone at home, if when they see this and hear this, they utilize that in their daily life. But thank you again for taking the time out. I know you're busy, and I appreciate you for taking the time out with me and She Got Game. And we wish you all the best going forward, Brooklyn. Thank you again.
Thank you.